Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm the CEO of Imaginary. I will not take time or too much time with the presentation. Next, please. Just would like to tell you a little bit, next slide, please, that our multidisciplinary team is working since 18 years on game psychology and mechanics. And the main focus of this is behavioral change. So behavioral change means also supporting adherence in healthcare. Next, please. So I will set the scene a little bit with these slides, and then I will tell you what we did, and we will reflect together a little bit about the use of this kind of approaches for telerehabilitation. Actually, this is important to me because we have to understand and keep in mind what the objective is, what the need is, where this whole research area comes from. Some years ago, somebody compared this to a slow motion car crash. So something that is actually unavoidable, but that you see coming in a way. So in other words, NHS systems globally are seriously challenged by what we have partially seen also yesterday. But let's recap. We have a rising number of patients and of chronic patients specifically. We have, in the best case, a stable number of specialists, but this number is sometimes really decreasing. So this ratio is in a way something that needs to be tackled and kept in mind very seriously, because we have long waiting lists. So patients are waiting to be treated too much. Therapies are far too short. So there's actually a chance that is being missed here to really raise and improve their quality of life, to really support them. And the risk of new relapses and new incidents is getting high and is creating a big stress, both on the organization of NHS systems, as well as on economics, because we have less people who are productive on the shoulders in a way of fewer people who are. So this is really creating a lot of issues in our societies worldwide, by the way. So Eurostat showed that there is a tendency of increasing home care professionals, but this is clearly not a scalable model. So here we need really something that is technology-based, some digital solution for this. COVID came only after this. So COVID is in a way the little drop that allowed this huge pot to get opened and the whole analysis to be tackled with quicker times. So it's not COVID that is bringing us to analyze the need for telerehabilitation. And this is in my opinion, is very important because the solution that we analyze need to answer to all these issues. Next slide, please. So I will show you with this video a little bit what we did. So
Voilà.
Okay, thank you. So this is actually Casa di Cura del Policlinico. This is the gym of our partner in VCare. So the video was recorded there. And this is a patient playing with rehabilitation. So you see the patient is moving in front of an RGBD camera, which is something that is able to read the patient's skeleton and specifically the joints of the patient. So translating natural movement into interaction with the games. The games have both simultaneously a motor and a cognitive component. They can be steered with upper limbs, with lower limbs, with balance, with issues like standing up and sitting down in a chair. And you can also play in a wheelchair, for example. So if there are risk of falls or situations where the patient is in a wheelchair, he or she can play also while sitting, so in a secure position. The idea is the content should be really, really specific for each group of pathologies. And the idea is that the patient should be introduced with the system in the clinic and then be invited to play from home. There is an access of the system, which is the access for specialists. And that's the place where they can set highly personalized therapy plans for each single patient, because therapy needs to be highly personalized, as well as monitor what is going on in terms of mistakes, types of mistakes, frequencies, and so on. I think we can go on with the next slide, please. Thank you. So the characteristics are that it's a system designed not only with specialists, but also with patients. So it's a user-centered design that was the way to produce the system. in a way that it raises security and that it motivates the patient to adherence. And we have very good results there. Next, please. So data are really encouraging. We have a lot of scientific publications. It's already certified as a medical device. We have lots of languages that we offer. Next, please, so that we recap a bit of time. This is interesting. These are the awards that we won. They're interesting because this slide contains most of the stakeholders of this area, the scientific community, the big medtech companies, the NHS, and patient associations. So all these stakeholders stated that this kind of system is something they would like and that they would support. Next, please. What comes next is what you saw is the neurology version that is certified as a medical device. Thanks to VCare, we have started to working also on a cognitive and a cardiac version. And there are other versions in progress, like one for rare diseases, for example. So this is means to say that the content needs to be very, very tailored to the specific groups of pathologies. Next, please. What I would like to reflect upon now that you have a super quick flavor of our solution is how to use these solutions. So clearly you can use them as standalone because the idea is that with such a system in the middle between the patient and the clinic or the specialist, you can increase therapy duration, decrease the cost of therapy, because you decrease the number of hours that each therapist needs to take needs to take care for each single patient. And you can increase the patient's quality of life through all this process. As I said, indicators are very high. You can also raise the potential of rehabilitation during hospitalization if you put some home kits also in the rooms in a hospital. What we did in VCare was experimenting the integration with other telemedicine solutions like the virtual tutor, but it could also be simply a televisit and a telemonitoring system as a starting base for a more complex system, because clearly we have to work in the direction of connected care. We don't have to forget this. So you start small, but then again, you have to think of the other components that make sense to be combined with such a system. And of course, we have also the whole area of active aging. Next, please. It is also interesting to see what else there is on the market in terms of state-of-the-art and of competitors. Of course, there are some other systems which are game-based, not always with the same strong scientific background. We have, for example, already 22 publications behind this system. But we have groups of systems which can be characterized like this. Based on teleconferencing, so actually a telecommunication solution that is being used for telerehabilitation, which is, well, practical because you have the therapist on the other side, but it's clearly not scalable, so not solving the issue. You have solutions based on wearable devices, and these are the most interesting ones, in my opinion, as a mathematician, particularly probably, but they are not easy to use, not cheap. So we have to reflect very well for who we suggest such a kind of solution, because not everybody is able to use this kind of solutions, not elderly people at home, for example. We have immersive ones with glasses and so on, which are far too risky. Normally, they're not even certified, but the risk here is too high and they are not viable, in my opinion. And then we have video-based ones, which are not interactive. You don't have analytics to check and so on. So actually, therapy is not personalized. So they're not particularly interested, again, in my opinion. Next, please. Just to say that some big tech companies, and this is the last slide, I promise, have created spaces like this e-health experience room from Microsoft in Milano, where they are showcasing technologies to create a patient journey. So you can go in that space and see and try technologies that are meaningful for a patient journey. And we are here the reference partner for telerehabilitation. So I will conclude with this. Next slide are just my contact details. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to take questions, if any.